Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I am Barbara Freilinger, and it is 2020, and so many people are making resolutions and goals. And I really thought it was important to understand the mindset that you have to have in order to really make a difference this year and what it takes to finally achieve the life and personal and professional success that you want to have. So I have with me today um, a multiple seven-figure earner in three different industries, and he has run the span of everything. He did not come from money, didn't grow up that way. He just learned how the value of discipline, hard work, and he didn't really even make his first million until he was in his 30s. So he started out small business owner, struggling just like everybody else, and he had a change in his mindset. And since he's been a top earner in the world, he's been in real estate, diamonds and gemstones, and network marketing. And I get to learn from him every day for free in my network marketing team. So I want to bring him on and talk a little bit about his mindset, how he has developed it over the years, and what his advice is for people who may be feeling that they want to make a change and they say this every year, but then they don't. And what needs to really happen. So with that, I am going to bring on Mr. Rick Gutman. Hi, Rick.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. It's great to be here with you.
Yes. So I gave you a little bit of an introduction there because I want people to know that, they always think, well, I could never be that kind of a person and I could never achieve something like that. And I think it starts with mindset and it starts with goals and habits. And those are the three things that I want to discuss today because you've really been harping on that a lot with our team in our business school: mindset, habits, goals. So the first question that I want to ask you is what kind of mindset did you have to make? What kind of shift did you need to make when you first got into business with your mentor? And where did you have to go from there in order to think that it was easy? Because I was reviewing a training and you had said people who make millions think that it's easy instead of hard. So how did you make that mindset shift?
Well, I wanted what he had. And it wasn't just that he was worth 40 or 50 million. It was when I was around him, he was always building me. When I was around him, he was always speaking into my life.
Mm-hmm.
I always felt better about myself after hanging out with him than I did walking in the door because he was so inspirational and asked me questions that provoked me to think about my future and what I expect out of life. And he had a like, hurry up, let's go. What are you waiting for? Attitude. And in that invitation, it prompted me to want to take the next steps to go out and change my life. And so inwardly, I had already wanted more than what was going on in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you get around people that are builders, right? Builders of people, they give you a glimpse of seeing yourself in a much bigger light than maybe you see yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed that. I needed somebody to not see me as I was, but see me where I could be and where I should be. In fact, it's even better than that. It's where I should be. And people that are builders of people, that's what they do. They always give you a glimpse of the greater you, and not that you could be, but that you should be. Almost like it's a responsibility for you to step into your purpose and your call and your destiny. Right? They draw that out of you, which I think is so important, but also so beautiful. Right? So you're prompted and provoked to change from the inside out. So it started there.
Okay. So when we talk about having a vision, how do you personally make goals now for yourself? What kind of a process do you go through on a daily basis? Like if you're going to set a goal for 2020, what kind of process do you personally go through now that you are a person who is wealthy and you kind of have been through the gauntlet of this?
Yeah. What I've learned is that purpose has nothing to do with how much money you have. And so it's never satisfied in the area of doing what you're called to do, right? So, in other words, you're not obeying the laws of money as much as you are obeying the laws of the best you that you can be. When you become driven by purpose, everything changes. You're no longer working for money. You're working for your dream. You're working for what you hope for. You're working for the vision in your life. 5 months, 5 years, decades, because you always see yourself becoming better and better and better. And so I set my goals according to that.
Mhm.
Like I always have the prompting that I have to finish my project in order for me to learn more and receive more. Like I personally believe that God gives you more as you do more, right? He's not going to give you too much to where you're so overwhelmed. He gives, as you progress down that journey of vision and destiny, everything begins to unfold, right? And so as you go down that road, you're learning more, you're asking more questions, you're becoming more, and it becomes addictive. So the goal setting, um, especially in the areas of educating and becoming better and having more wisdom and experience, um, I'm always prompted to finish what I got, right? Finish. Like I almost feel like God says, you know, hurry up and finish your project because I got more for you. I want to give you more, and it's not more workload. It's more of what the desires of your heart are asking for, you know,
Mhm.
and regardless of faith or religion or any of that other stuff or different types of that. Um, as you go down any journey of wisdom or knowledge or becoming better, you don't have all of the you don't have all the answers in the beginning. The answers begin to reveal themselves, but the what's even better than that is the new questions begin to reveal yourself. Like I love asking questions that I don't already know. Many people feel are stagnant in their life because they feel like they've already asked all the questions.
Mhm.
And what's wonderful about learning and going down the road of goal setting and attaining those is you keep getting more questions to ask so you can find out the answers. It's like this beautiful invitation, to the dance. It's so beautiful in the way it is that you don't want to stop because and it has nothing and it has very little to do with money. Do you have financial goals? Absolutely. Do you have new levels of freedom? Absolutely. Do you have a dream? Absolutely. Right? All of those are very important. They're just not central. They're more peripheral than they are central. What's central is doing the thing that you're passionate about that gives you that pays off, in tremendous rewards and self-fulfillment,
Mhm.
right? Now, the second part of your question, I know is long-winded,
It's okay.
but I'm driven by helping people. I'm a builder of people. I love to build people. I love to invest time in them. I love to invest wisdom and knowledge in them. I would love for them to feel 10 feet tall and bulletproof as I have spoken into their life or as I speak into their life. Um, and it's not filling them with a whole lot of hot air. It's listening to the desires of their heart, and then helping them to have the tools and the know-how to go out and accomplish that.
Mhm.
So, which is why I spent so much time building Overcome Nation is that I want my personal goals is to help millions and millions of people to have both time and money, But what's larger than that is for them to have fulfillment in their life, right? And that's what drives me at this stage of my life more than anything.
So for the person who is watching this right now and is saying, I've been living paycheck to paycheck for years, and I always say that I'm not going to be in this situation next year, and I really want to do it right this time. I really want to make a difference this time. What is the first step that you would tell that person? Because maybe they've started in the past and they just couldn't do it, or they've tried other things in the past to get themselves out of their situation and it hasn't worked, or they've just given up really fast because they feel like, well, I tried this, I tried that, I tried this, and maybe I'm just meant to be this way. Maybe I'm meant to be broke. So what do you tell that person that they need to do? What's the first step that they need to do in order to change things? Because you've been there.
Yeah. Well, the first thing you have to do is determine in your heart that you're going to put yourself back in the driver's seat of your life and start becoming more self-reliant, right? And there's the 98% in this world are all the triers. They're the talkers. They're not the doers. They're the starters. They're not the finishers. The 2% are always the ones that show up and actually get the job done,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you have to go from being a statistic of one of the 98% and start determining in your heart that you're going to be more type A and you're going to become the 2%. And we become the story that we tell ourselves. So we have to be real careful when we say, well, maybe I'm supposed to be broke, or maybe I'm supposed to just stay here. Maybe I'm not meant to have those things. As long as you have a brain and some determination and you can learn, you can apply an experience and you can become whatever it is that you want to become. But you have to put yourself back in a place where you have control, right? A lot of people that have gone to school, and that schooling system has taught them to go work for somebody else, taught them to become employees instead of being self-reliant. There's something beautiful about a person that is self-reliant. They're the types of people that feel like you can put me in almost any situation and I'm going to figure out a way to win. I'm going to figure out a way to to um, to find solutions, right, and serve the needs in my life. Um, and not depend on people, right? So when you live a life of working for somebody else and that creates such a deep routine in your life and it's part of the blueprint of the way you were raised, it can be difficult um, to break the mindset of self-reliance because you've been told your entire life that this is what we do. You're born to go to work for somebody else. So until a person gets so sick of asking for permission or so sick of living paycheck to paycheck or living on a budget, right? They can only make this much. Their threshold of their earning power is only this much. They accept that, right? Half of America makes less than $50,000 a year. Half of America. We're talking about 34, 35, 37, $38,000 a year. Half of America is telling themselves that their earning power is not greater than 50,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So they've bought into a lie. They've been telling themselves a story, or they've listened to people that have told them this is what your value is, and I'm going to give you back your life every single week in the form of a check. This is the value of your life. This is what your time is worth for me. Less than 50,000 a year. But the person that says, you know what, I'm tired of that type of income. I'm tired of living in this house or driving this car or living in this neighborhood or any of those things. The person gets so sick of it is willing to get up and put themselves back in the driver's seat, right? If you want to be wealthy or if you want a better life, then you got to mind your own business. You got to mind your own affairs, right? You can't lean on somebody else's opinion of you in the form of a paycheck. So the only way to break through that is for you to use your imagination, your God-given imagination and creativity, and take everything from the drawing board of your mind and start putting it on paper and then going out and taking action and giving yourself permission to either do it quickly or slowly. either way, you got to give yourself permission, because even if you're going after your dreams and they're working slow, you're a lot more fulfilled, because even if you're only giving 1 hour a day to taking your life back, you still feel better about yourself because you're not stuck or paralyzed in complacency,
Mhm.
right? One step build in the direction of your dream automatically removes the depression from your life. I've never seen anyone that was out building their dream, even in the frustrations and the shortcomings and the setbacks. I've never seen one person that was building in the direction of their dream that fell into depression or despair. It always happens when we stop. It happens when we become paralyzed. It always happens when we procrastinate. So those people need to get out of procrastination and determine in their heart that, and have some vision and write imagination, write things that you want, that you want out of your life. What do you want to be? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? Write down every single detail of what it looks. Be very, very detailed and descriptive of what it is you want and where you want to go, and you will become. You have to engrave it in your heart, that
Mhm.
imagery in your heart, right now, most of those people are just an imprint of what they're supposed to be. But you're called to go from imprint to the image, from imprint to the image of what you're supposed to be. So you have to walk that out, but it all starts here. This is where we win or lose, right? Wars are won or lost in the mind.
And that's kind of where I want to start too with the last thing that I wanted to talk about, which was habits. And you talk about, you know, that you didn't have the best habits growing up, and
Mhm.
and you had to become a different person, and you had to really, you procrastinated a lot, and
Yes.
but you decided that you were going to change your habits. And that, I think, is a big thing, because people will get, they'll start and then they'll stop, and they just
Yeah.
get out of the habit, and then they start to think that, oh, well, this isn't going to work now because it's been too long since I've done this or done that. And I was just talking to my team last night that when you're in constant momentum, regardless of what you're doing, it doesn't, you don't think that you can't do it, because what you were just saying, that once you are out there doing it, you're going to feel better. Even if it's an hour a day, you're going to feel better because you are building towards something, right? So
Yeah.
what habits do you have on a daily basis? Because I want people to know what it really takes if you want to be a successful person going from broke to wealthy, or just maybe you're not broke, but you want more, and you want to change your habits in some area of your life. Then what does your day look like? And what does the day of a seven-figure earner look like with that?
Okay, so I'm going to give you a longer answer. What changed my old habits into wealthy habits was I got around my first mentor when I was 33 years old. It only took him 10 months for me to become a millionaire, right? And I was around him every single day for 2 years, right?
Mhm.
Even after I made my first million, we still worked together. But getting around him and picking up his habits caused a routine that became very easy to follow. That's why, people come out, from my organization and spend a week with me or 3 or 4 days with me. And my habits are much different than most people expect. And most of the time when they're here with me, we're just visiting and having fun, but I'm doing my routine and they're doing their routine, and they're just in the house with me. They're watching me, they're doing their stuff. We get into in-depth conversation. A lot of people think that I take them right to the whiteboard and start doing that. It's not like a teaching seminar. They just pick up my habits and my flow. And it's always fascinating to me because um, they leave so empowered, and it doesn't feel like work. Like I didn't feel like I poured into them in that week. That my habits were more compelling than what I was saying, because they could see the way I flow throughout the day. And it's, to me, it's just routine, so it's not a big deal. And I'll say that my wealthy habits are probably much less than so many other people that have hundreds of millions of dollars, right? That's probably why they have hundreds of millions of dollars. So if you want to get to that place where you have $100 million company or $1 billion company, your habits have to be better, stronger, more effective, more productive, and you have to do much more of it. Like Elon Musk still works 100 hours a week. Everybody wants what Elon has, but they don't want to work 100 hours a week. But he's also driven by passion and purpose. So my routine is very critical. So, I want everyone to really listen to me very closely for what I'm about to say. And it's going to be shocking how anticlimactic it is, but it changes my life and puts me in high gear. And, we've been taught that you need mentors up close, but now because of technology, you have mentors from a distance that still feel like they're close. Like, so in my home, I have my TV, smart TV, where I just turn on and everybody has smart TVs nowadays. Just turn on YouTube and listen to guys like Eric Thomas or Andy Frisella or Gary Vaynerchuk or Grant Cardone or Sharon Lecter or the Kiyosaki's. Every week I have a different person, but it's a small loop, right? Because I have maybe 6 or 7 people that have hundreds of videos on, and that's going on in my house throughout the day, right? I'm always reading or I'm writing or I'm listening. I'm always reading, writing, or listening, reading, writing, or listening, reading, writing, or listening, always. And so that's what it takes for me to be in that atmosphere. I have to hear guys like Eric Thomas talking about purpose and attacking and going after your dreams and goals and, not being stuck on your phone all day, wasting time, and really showing the separation between the broke mentality to the wealthy mentality. And you have one or the other. Most people have the broke mentality. So I learned to have the mechanics. The mechanics are the things that I need that give me the guidance throughout the day. So subliminally, I'm always listening to that. So it doesn't take long. I mean, I could literally, another one, TD Jakes is another one that really helps me on a very, very personal, strong level from the inside out. And listening to his content is very, very compelling and powerful for me. And 10 minutes of any of those individuals, and I'm already ready. I want to attack the world, right? So I always have that going on in the background. But the very first thing I do when I get, so that's what everyone should be doing, whether it's on your way to work or on your way back from work. Most people have full-time jobs, right? So I understand that. You want to learn how to have a good relationship with money so you can be a master of money instead of a slave to it. Financial education is what addresses that. So you want to learn about that. So then you can start owning your time, right? We got to get your time back. Passive income is what brings your time back, right? Warren Buffett said, if you don't figure out how to make money while you sleep, you're going to work until you die. So that is the end goal, is to leverage a system or leverage money so it works harder than you do, so you can have more time to do what I'm talking about, right? Listening constantly. Imagine being 8 hours a day, always in a think tank, always listening, always inspired, always going out and doing it and attacking, and an hour's worth of information backed by an hour's worth of action. Information, action, information, action. It doesn't take long to go take your life back and become more self-reliant. But when I get up in the morning, first thing I do is I make my coffee, start my coffee pot, because I don't have a brain until I'm about a cup and a half in. Open up my Bible, I read my scriptures. From there, I'll either read, write, or listen, depending on what I'm feeling in the day. I'm looking for empowerment in the day. I'm looking for something that's going to ignite my day, right? I'm excited about something. I want to be excited. I use outward things to ignite something inward on the inside of me. For me, it's being in the atmosphere of those people. So no one in this world can say, if you're connected to technology, no one in this world can say that I don't have a mentor, because most of my mentors are from a distance, never even knew my name, right? And so yet I gleaned from them and learned from them and took their advice and went out and did it. Some people need somebody to hold them back and hold their hand and literally drag them into the routine. Some people need that. motivators that want to become self-reliant, like if you want something bad enough, you'll just go, okay, I got it. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Now, what happens in that atmosphere where you're learning and listening is your language begins to change. You start reading more than you did before. You start learning more than you did before. You start doing more than you did before. And as your language and understanding changes, so does your friendships. You start desiring more stimulating conversation, more topics that are more success driven. And so that conversation begins to change you, you start choosing your friends differently, and you start wanting to be gravitating to people that are higher thinkers, that are motivating, that are out doing the things that they want. You start wanting to get around people that are dreaming and doing because they inspire you to do more. And many of them are already doing more than you are. So they will speak into your life and go, well, I did it like this. When I wrote my first book, this is the way I did it. And you're like, man, I've always wanted to write a book. How did you do it? Right? Or whatever it is that they're working on. So as you get around those people, you begin to pick up their habits. So you've already started developing these other habits of learning and listening and participating and writing and doing those things. Now your friendships begin to change because your language is changing, and that language is attractive to them too. So they want to be around you as well, right? Because you fire them up, they fire you up. So there's an exchange that's happening. So now, as you get around more of these doers, not talkers, but doers, you start picking up their habits and their routines, and you start getting that inward momentum. And you start recognizing when you're not getting the job done, you're like, man, what am I doing? I'm screwing up right now. I need to get out there and take action, because your friends, those new associates, are taking action. So when you're around people that are always in motion, it pulls you into motion with them. And that's why the famous saying is get around 5 millionaires and you'll be the sixth millionaire. That's true. Why? Because you pick up their habits, because you're a listener and a watcher, right? What you do speaks so loudly that what you say they cannot hear, right? So you're seeing them do it. You're not just hearing them talk about it. And that's how you change your life. That's how you become a finisher, because your goals, you set your goals, your weekly goals, your monthly goals, your quarterly goals, and your yearly goals, and then your overall goals, right? So you need that vision for the day, but you need that sight for the day, but that vision for the journey, right? So you have all that set out. But before you know it, that routine begins to be so common that you don't even realize that you're in routine. I don't realize that I'm even in routine anymore. What I do realize is when I'm pushing myself to create new habits. Like I had to push myself to begin to write on a daily basis. I had to push myself and remind myself. And there's something super valuable, and I'll kick it back to you, that has really helped me, and I think this will really help everyone else, is that Jim Rohn said, never start your day until it's finished on paper. That's been a wonderful asset for a person like me, because I've always tend to procrastinate, out of sight, out of mind. So if I'm picking up, I'll stay, once I'm in routine, I'm good. But if I want to enhance that routine and make it more effective and pick up wealthier habits that will have much bigger payoffs in terms of, personal rewards or financial rewards, then I have to add to those habits. So I have to remind myself on paper to write today. So now I'm writing every day to where it's just part of my day, instead of having to remind myself, right? Because now I really recognize if I haven't done it, I'm like, it's on the biggest part of my mind. And I know that I'm not satisfied until I get that project done. And that project is being bit off one bite at a time.
Mhm. Okay. Great. Well, I don't want to keep this too long because I think it's been a lot of information. It's very powerful in a short amount of time here. But do you have anything that you would like my network to know as we start this new decade, 2020, and people are looking to change their lives and all of that? Like, is there anything that you think that people should know about what we're doing and how it could help them?
Well, yeah. I mean, the number one recognition that people need is to understand that passive income is the highest quality of income in the world. So the question is, how are you going to get that? Because when you have passive income, it gives you your time back, because passive income is income that you generate without your active involvement. That's that Warren Buffett money that he talks about, money while you sleep. And so your objective is to go out and get that. Now, there are different ways you can get that. There's four basic quadrants for how a person can generate passive income: real estate, through rental property, um, stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, commodities, and businesses that are built around a system that produce cash flow, right? So businesses that will run themselves while you're doing other things. So now you're having both time and money. So you determine, that's what you want, how you're going to get it. I was attracted to the network marketing space because I had been the traditional business owner from the time.
Oh,
Sorry, somebody was trying to call me.
oh, okay.
So passive income was something that I had a little of, not a lot. And I was trying to change my financial statement to generating more passive income than earned income, because passive income is taxed at the lowest percentage and earned income is taxed at the highest percentage, right? So I wanted to be smart about that. Through the financial education began to reveal that. And so I went out and started buying rental properties, right? And so most people don't have the money for rental properties, and it's too risky for them because it's taken them a long time just to save up for a down payment. So they're always afraid that if they lose it or they do something wrong, it would take them years to get that money back, right? So that's why financial education is really important, because you're investing in your confidence, you're investing in your belief, you're learning a new skill set, right? If you can learn, you can earn. And so the question is, how would you do that, right? You can do it through businesses, or you can do it through stocks, bonds, mutual funds. I don't care for those too much because there's a lack of control, right? There's a reason why if you go to a bank and ask them to loan you $100,000 for the purpose of putting it in the stock market, they won't loan it to you. But they love to give you real property, though. They love to do it on real estate. So they know that, so that one of those cash flowing uh, uh, sources when it comes to paper assets is too risky. When banks think that's too risky, you probably should not do what a bank does. Don't do what a bank doesn't, right? So real property is something that you can learn the skill set and invest in, but it takes a great deal of money, and you have to do it one property at a time. I was attracted to the network marketing space because I could invest $1,500, start a business, and then learn the system and go out and teach two people that want to become business owners, right? And then go out and teach them to go get two. And now there's 6 different locations, 6 different business partners that I have, 6 different locations, a lot like a franchise. The only thing is it didn't cost me a penny, right? Every time another person decides to become a business owner, and as I pour into them and teach them, as they begin to build, so do I. They build wealth. We all build wealth together. So when those 6 go out and get two, you have 24 locations or 24 different businesses, right? Or 24 different rental properties, if you will, that all produce cash flow. 24 get two, you have 96. So what happens is that you're generating a tremendous amount of cash flow debt free, and it's all passive income. So you're having both time and money. So I don't know of a greater method of wealth creation on the planet, but you have to be very careful on who you align yourself with, who you're learning from, because 98% of the people in the network marketing space don't know what in the world they're doing. They say they have a system, but they really don't. There's no source of financial education. They're not teaching business principles and learning the business acumen. And in today's atmosphere and competitive marketplace, you need to learn how to be an owner operator. You need to know business principles. There's too many people in the network marketing space that are running around and vacationing all the time and taking selfies of them being here and there and there and there and all over the place. So it misleads people. So because they think, oh, if you want to live a rock star life, step into network marketing. Now, it is the best method of wealth creation I've ever seen, but it looks like work, right? I think it would do people good if they could show you how they work, their method of working, and how much they work in order to trade those hours for dollars in the beginning, and then you start producing that cash flow and you start getting that time freedom. But it looks like work. right? You can't make 1 million in passive income and remain average. You're learning and growing and applying. So for the person that doesn't have a lot of money, but they have a lot of desire, this is the greatest place to be. But Overcome Nation is the only one that has a business school in the entire almost $300 billion space. And I know that's a very powerful statement, but nobody is really teaching that to this degree. We have over 500 hours of financial education that's free for our team, right? Teaching you really how to be effective in the network marketing space. Eric Worre's not even doing that. No one's doing it, right? Which is shocking to me, but um, it teaches you the real expectations of business, and it teaches you the real wisdoms through the experience of how to create a tremendous amount of cash flow in the network marketing industry, right? Nobody else is doing that. So if there's somebody that's watching you, or if they've not had success before, or they've had success before and then the bottom fell out and there was a lack of duplication and they were doing everything themselves, here's where you want to be, because we change all of that, right? There's only one way to build the network marketing space, and it has to come through a foundation and a root system of financial education and business acumen. That's when you're set up for success.
Well, that was amazing. Thank you so much, Rick, for coming on today. And
Sure.
yeah, and anybody out there, contact me, contact Rick if you're in his network. But yeah, this was so great. And I think that anyone who watches this right now will really understand what it takes, that they can turn their life around in the next 12 months if they choose, if they make a decision and choose to get around the right people and have a development program. It's like you always say, it's not where you are right now. That's not, and where you've been. It's where are you planning to go, and are you in a development program to get you there?
Okay.
So,
Well
yes.
said.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
All right. Thanks,
Have a
Barbara.
great day.
Bye,
Okay,
everyone.
bye. Thanks so much for coming on, everybody. And I will be, if you have any questions about anything, I will be online for a while, or you can just comment below or message me. And I would love to share with you what we do in our free business school. I think that it is an amazing, as an educator myself, it is an amazing space with so much right at your fingertips that you can learn. And I'm going to be talking more about that and showing exactly what we have in our school over the next week or two, because I just think it's so powerful how this is changing people's lives. So have an amazing day and reach out, share this if you found it valuable, and I will be talking to you soon.